she looked out. Do you know what she saw? It was a little creature, as black as soot, with bright yellow eyes, and it was sitting on a cat that appeared to be flying. "Hello," said the little creature. "Would you like to come flying?" "Yes, please," said the little girl, and she climbed out of the window and onto the cat, and off they flew. "Hang on tight," cried the creature. "Where are we going?" asked the little girl. "I don't know," called the creature. "Who are you?" asked the little girl. "I haven't got a name," said the creature. "I'm just a fly-by-night." And up they went into the air and over the hills and away. The little girl looked around her at the bright moon and the stars that seemed to wink at her and chuckle to themselves. Then she looked down at the black world below her, and she was suddenly frightened again and said, "How will we find our way back?" "Oh, don't worry about that," cried the fly-by-night. "What does it matter?" And he leant on the cat's whiskers, and down they swooped towards the dark earth. "But I must be able to get home," cried the little girl. "My mother and father will wonder where I am." "Oh, poop-de-doo," cried the fly-by-night, and he pulled back on the cat's whiskers, and up they soared, up into the stars again, and all the stars were humming in rhythm. Boodle-dum-dee, boodle-dum-dah, isn't it great being a star? And all the stars had hands, and they started clapping together in unison. Then suddenly the moon opened his mouth and sang in a loud, booming voice, "I'm just the moon, but that's fine by me, as long as I hear that boodle-dum-dee." And the cat opened its mouth wide and sang, "Whee!" And they looped the loop and turned circles to the rhythm of the stars. But the little girl started to cry and said, "Oh, please, I want to go home." "Oh, no, you don't," cried the fly-by-night, and took the cat straight up as fast as they could go, and the stars seemed to flash past them like silver darts. "Please," cried the little girl, "take me back." "Spoil sport," yelled the fly-by-night, and he stuck the cat dead, then tipped it over, and down they swooped so fast that they left their stomachs behind them at the top and landed on a silent hill. "Here you are," said the fly-by-night. "But this isn't my home," said the little girl, looking around at the dark, lonely countryside. "Oh, it'll be around here somewhere, I expect," said the fly-by-night. "But we've come miles and miles from my home," cried the little girl. But it was so silly, said the little girl. And now I'm quite lost, and I don't know how I'll ever get home. You'll get home, said the moon's reflection. Hop on a lily pad and follow me. So the little girl stepped cautiously onto a lily pad, and the moon's reflection started to move slowly across the pond and then down a stream, and the little girl